It started on an ordinary Thursday evening. Sarah and I had been married for 9 years. Like any couple, we had our share of ups and downs, but through it all, I believed we were solid. That night, as we sat across from each other at the dinner table, I had no reason to think anything was wrong. The soft clinking of silverware, the warmth of home-cooked food, it all seemed normal. Then, without warning, she dropped a bombshell. "Dan, I've been thinking about our marriage," she said, her tone casual, almost too casual. "I think we should consider an open arrangement." I froze, my fork hovering midway to my mouth. The words hung in the air, twisting into something unreal. I repeated them, as if saying them out loud would somehow change their meaning. "An open marriage?" Sarah nodded, her expression serene, as if she were suggesting we repaint the living room or try a new restaurant. "We're both still young," she continued. "I love you, but I think this could revive us, add excitement, you know?" Excitement. The word tasted bitter on my tongue. 1,000 emotions crashed inside me. Anger, confusion, betrayal. But I kept my face unreadable. She reached across the table, placing her hand over mine. "Don't you trust me?" she asked softly. "It's not about replacing you. It's about exploration. Don't you want to be happy?" What I wanted was to rewind time, to erase this conversation before it could exist. But as she spoke, I realized this wasn't some impulsive thought. She had planned this, rehearsed it, and maybe, just maybe, she had already acted on it. I should have argued, yelled, demanded answers. Instead, I met her gaze, my voice eerily calm. "If that's what you want." Her eyes brightened with relief. "Really? You're okay with this?" I forced a tight smile. "If it makes you happy." That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind spiraling into dark places. The woman I had loved, the one I had planned to grow old with, was slipping away, or maybe she was already gone. I felt like I was drowning. But then, beneath the pain, a cold, calculated clarity settled in. If this was the game she wanted to play, I would play it. And I would win. Over the next few weeks, Sarah flourished in her newfound freedom. She dressed differently, came home later, and became secretive with her phone. I didn't question her. I simply observed. Every bright smile she gave me felt like an insult. Every absent kiss was hollow. And while she indulged in her new reality, I built my own plan. I visited a lawyer, quietly, discreetly. I needed to understand my rights, our assets, and how best to protect myself. The attorney, a seasoned man with a sympathetic demeanor, walked me through the process, handing me a checklist of steps to secure my finances and legal standing. Next, I began documenting everything. Her nights out, unexplained credit card charges, the hushed whispers on the phone when she thought I wasn't listening. I even installed a GPS tracker on her car. It wasn't something I was proud of, but regret wasn't an emotion I could afford. The evidence it provided confirmed what I had suspected. Sarah wasn't talking about an open marriage. She was already living it. By the time I confronted her, I was ready. But confrontation wasn't my endgame. It was just a step in the process. One Friday evening, as she stood in front of the mirror, putting the final touches on her makeup, I asked casually, "Where are you headed tonight?" She hesitated for just a fraction of a second. "Out with friends." "Which friends?" She turned, irritation flashing in her eyes. "Why do you care? We agreed, remember?" I smiled, standing up. "You're right. We did agree. I'm just curious." Her shoulders relaxed. She even smiled back. "Dan, this is good for us. You'll see." "I'm sure I will." That night, after she left, I packed a bag and walked out of our home for the last time. There was no note, no confrontation, just my wedding ring left on the kitchen counter. The next morning, my phone exploded with missed calls and frantic voicemails. Sarah's voice trembled between anger, confusion, and desperation. I ignored them all. Instead, I called my lawyer. It was time to set my plan into motion. Within weeks, I filed for divorce, froze our joint accounts, and removed her as a beneficiary from my life insurance. The lawyer drafted a letter informing her that I was fully aware of her infidelity and that I would be seeking an uncontested divorce. Sarah's reaction was predictable, chaotic. She pounded on the door of my temporary apartment, demanding to talk. When I finally let her in, she was a mess, her mascara smudged, her hair disheveled. She looked like a stranger. "You can't do this," she screamed. "You agreed to this, Dan." I met her gaze, my voice cold. "I agreed to let you be happy, but I'm done being miserable to make it happen." She crumpled onto the couch, her face streaked with tears. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I love you. Please, let's fix this. I laughed, a bitter sound even to my own ears. Fix this? You destroyed it. And now you're upset because I won't stay to watch. She pleaded. She promised things I knew she could never keep. A flicker of guilt stirred inside me, a shadow of the man I once was, but I extinguished it. The papers are with my lawyer, I said. Sign them, and this ends quickly. Fight me, and it gets ugly. Of course, she made it difficult. She dragged her feet, tried to manipulate me, even enlisted friends and family to guilt-trip me. But I stood firm. With every passing day, I felt lighter, freer. For the first time in years, I was living for myself. But my revenge wasn't complete yet. Sarah had always prided herself on appearances. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple. Her friends envied our marriage. Her family adored me. So I let them in on the truth. I hosted a dinner party, inviting our mutual friends and family. Sarah showed up, uninvited but unsurprised. She likely thought she could control the narrative. But as the evening unfolded, I calmly laid out the facts. No embellishment, no theatrics, just the truth. Sarah had asked for an open marriage. She had started an affair. And she had left me no choice but to walk away. The room fell silent. Sarah's face drained of color, then flushed red. She tried to interject, but the weight of her own actions crushed her. People asked questions, their voices thick with disbelief and disappointment. By the end of the night, Sarah's carefully built support system had collapsed. 6 months later, our divorce was finalized. She moved out of state, likely to start over. Meanwhile, I rebuilt my life. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I found new hobbies, reconnected with old friends, and even started dating again. Then one day, she called. Her voice was hesitant, almost timid. Dan, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I let her words linger in the air before I responded. Thank you, I said. But I've moved on. I hope you can too. She started to say something else, but I ended the call. Not out of spite, just because I didn't need her apology. The man I had become, stronger, wiser, free, owed her nothing. And for the first time in years, I was truly at peace.